Good evening, everybody. Today, our first speaker, Mr. Aelekh in the Jain. He's a director at APPL Industries, an emblem of transformative leadership and strategic innovation. With an academic foundation in polymer management from MIT Pune and an MBA from the University of Buckingham, UK, Aelekh has sculpted a career marked by notable achievements, including spearheading international joint ventures and partnerships across Germany, the USA, and Korea. His strategic vision has significantly accelerated APPL's global expansion, embodying a blend of analytical prowess and a forward thinking approach. His journey from a strategic planner to a global business developer reflects his unwavering dedication to fostering growth and excellence in the international arena. And today we have the honor to hear him for his experience. Thank you, Aelekh, for really accepting our invitation and being the part of this forum. We are really looking forward to you sharing your experience with us and also inspiring us through this talk.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Preeti, for the wonderful introduction. I feel that it's an honor because I'm talking to people who've studied in one of the most premier institutions of India, and I really feel that learning from you is also equally important. I can share my experiences, but yes, I want to learn from you. We're working in different fields, different backgrounds, and knowing to know people from all over India. So thank you so much. It's a wonderful day for me. Thank you so much. I have a short presentation where I will talk about the company and also talk about our topic today, which is taking the legacy business globally. Great. Today I'm going to talk about my company, which is APPL Industries. Uh, we are a family-driven company started by my father 35 years back, and today we are one of the largest in India, second largest in Asia, and now we we are at such a stage that we are giving competition, we are breaking barriers in not only Asia, European countries, but also in North America, US, and other countries. So it gives me immense pleasure to say that an Indian company has worked with global OEMs, global companies to become one of powerhouses in the global plastic scenario. So just to give a brief introduction, it's a very short presentation. My father started this company back in 1990, and today we are the biggest in the country, and we serve all OEMs. We are into predominantly the automotive sector, and we serve all OEMs India as well as globally. So we manufacture plastic granules, which are then molded into parts and then fitted onto the cars that you see on the road. So few examples about those parts would be the dashboards that you see in the car, the bumpers, and other safety equipment that is underneath the vehicle. So we provide material for that. We design material which is specific to each and every OEM and which pass the stringent norms of all OEM standards, which is safety, aesthetics, as well as other different properties which are required by the OEMs. So as I said, we work with all OEMs in India. So let it be Maruti Suzuki, Volkswagen, Ford, Renault. These are all global OEMs which we work very closely with. APPL is a group of 9 companies where APPL Industries Ltd, which is the plastic engineering group, which provides materials for automotive. We also have different verticals. We've invested into many different companies, different verticals. These are our partners who are from different countries. Some are from US, some are from China, some are from Korea. So we work in different backgrounds, different applications, but our core has always remained plastics. That's one of the most important ethos that we carry whenever we are doing any new ventures or any new businesses that are to be introduced in India. So this is just a summary of what all we do. As I said, we serve almost all clients in India, all OEMs. We have strategic international business partnerships with European companies like Renault. We are also working with uh, uh, Middle Eastern giants, as we say, as we all know, ADNOC. So they have their subsidiary called Baruch, which we have recently signed a joint venture agreement for their products in India. We are also working with the Korean giant, which is the GS Caltex. So we are working with all Korean OEMs like Hyundai, Kia, Samsung, LG. So we have a joint venture with them as well. And we've recently also signed agreement for the North American market as well. So we will be serving Mexico and US markets. The same products which we offer our customers here in India will be offered in North American markets as well. Lastly, our manufacturing is state of the art. As I said that we are working with global OEMs, so we need to have global manufacturing standards as well. So we are one of the leading or state of the art manufacturing facilities that we have, and we comply with all so environmental, safety, and other norms which are there associated with all the OEMs. So this was just a short brief about the company and how what we work in. So now moving on to how we work as a family. So I would say we are not a family organization. We are a very professional family organization where the family is involved in strategic decision making, and the professionals that are working with the company for many years are running in the daily interactions with the customer and other stakeholders. So we as a family work as a very in a very strategic role where we look at the overall the business frame that we are working in, and how to expand globally, how to expand in the Indian market, and what all new products which are not available in India are importing into India. So we provide solutions where we can provide local manufacturing with no dependence on global players. So we bring in latest technology. We invest heavily in innovation and latest technology. So we are always abreast with all the market needs and many times ahead of the market needs. So moving on, I would just like to share a story where I would say innovation has really worked and is an ethos for the company. Uh, a story about 10 years, 14 years back when we all know that Volkswagen was coming into India in a big way. They wanted to capture the Indian market and dethrone Maruti and other players which were in India. As they dominated the global markets and they were coming to India, they said that we are here to rule the market. So back then, the German way of working is, we are high on quality, we are high on products which we bring to the market are unparalleled to any other product, and safety and other things are extremely important for them. So when they came to India, they brought in their German suppliers, their German stakeholders, and they always thought, a European mindset would be understood by a European company or a European supplier. So then we came into the picture where we said that no, European companies might not be able to work in India, where an Indian company could really go head to head with these European giants. So then we started working with Volkswagen. Generally, for a business to start for our company takes almost 2 years of development, 2 years of a lot of discussions, developments on the product, safety, testing, and all those things. So it took us almost 2 years to convince the Volkswagen India that we are equally good supplier, and we can really replace the German counterparts. And I'm proud to say that we were the only Indian company who could pass their products back in Germany in their HQ in Wolfsburg, and we were the only company who the Germans trusted for with their product to launch in India. So this was a great learning for us, a great proud moment for as an Indian that we could go head to head with such giants from the industry. So this story takes us till today, where we are working for Volkswagen not only in India. We are working with them in South Africa. We're working with them in Brazil, Mexico, US, as well as in Europe. So that hard work which we did on all these years today has reaped benefits. Today has reaped us such fruits that we are working on a global scale with such an OEM. Moving on, how does the family business work? That's extremely a topic where a lot of Indian family businesses really struggle. Uh, Over the years, we've learned. So my father was also in a family business. Then we parted ways back in 1990, and then he started his own business. So the same situations or the same uh, learning that we did many years back, we implemented that in the business. So in the family, I would say my father started the business. I am the eldest son, and I have a younger brother. So all three of us coming together, we have dedicated our time, our resources in such a way that we do not conflict with each other, but we complement our skills and our expertise in growing the company. The the idea has always been that growth of the company is paramount to everything. Yeah, conflicts can always be there, but if the conflict is to grow the company, then there is no questions about any other ways of working. A family business is a tricky way to work. Uh, we see a lot of Indian companies fail and a lot of Indian companies succeed. So we took a lot of deliberation from different stakeholders as well as external stakeholders, where we could get the right balance between the family members and also keep growing the company globally. I would also like to say that we are going global, but also we are working with a lot of global companies that come into India. So as I said, uh, we proud ourselves where we say that we want Indian manufacturing as the main star of the complete business. So we bring a lot of technologies, we bring a lot of partners from different countries, and try to do local manufacturing as much as we can, and provide those solutions which are available outside of India, but at Indian costs and with an Indian company. So that has been appreciated with all OEMs in India, and also now taking those expertise what we learned over the span of 30-35 years, now we are going globally into markets where we are going head to head with global giants of the industry. I would also like to talk about some of the learnings I personally had during the family business discussions. So a lot of the times there were conflicts between me, my father, or sometimes my brother. So it was a very tricky way, but yes, always working. The idea was to work for the company and having a mindset where growth and also focusing on the people of the company, because we saw a lot of people also getting disturbed by such conflicts. So we always thought that APPL is a very close family, and we don't want anybody to get hurt because of any conflicts that we might have internally. So we thought long, we thought for many years how a right balance could be made. And then few years back, we came up to a solution where we use our expertise in different fields and try to keep the company at the center of all that we do. Let it be venturing into new countries, venturing into new products or new technologies. The company APPL comes at the forefront or the center of every decision that we take. And uh, all three of us, we have a unsaid pact where we agree to disagree on everything. Until unless it's a unanimous decision, we don't go forward. So it's something that if let's say I have to go into a new country, uh, I literally have to sell that product to my father and my brother. So it's something a very interesting way of doing it, but that has worked for me and that is working for all of us. And today we see that we've grown into a big giant which is going global. Of course, my father has been working 40 years for this company. His trust and his leadership has taken us and he's brought us here to to give such an environment where we can excel in different uh, geographies, in different fields, which we never knew that we could be. So, just an example would be that we've started a new venture, which is not mentioned here, for the defense sector in India. So, we've started manufacture. We've started testing bulletproof jackets for our armed forces. So this is something we never thought could be possible in APPL, and an Indian company could do that. So this is something which we provide budding ground for not only ourselves but also our teams, where they can come up with such ideas, come up with technologies, as well as invest heavily in technologies where we can provide such solutions. Today almost all bulletproof jackets are imported in India, and a lot of these jackets are extremely expensive. So providing an Indian solution in an Indian way is something which our government is supporting. And similarly, we are also focusing on that and trying to keep our uh, focus, vision, and also mission in working for India, and not only for India but also for the globe. So working in India but for the globe. So that's the right way to put it. Uh, Other than that, I think I've said my part quite a bit. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
What an inspirational story. I mean, like, what a journey you've had. Love. You were saying all of it with such a smile on your face. It seems like everything is easy, but family business and that too in such a diverse way. I mean, like, it's not easy. Now, I will open this to the forum for the question, and I think already we have two hands. I can see Mr. Murthy has some questions. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, Aelekh, very good evening. I think we are very closely associated with your type of industry. I am from Fanuk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm from Fanuk, and we have your machines and all, like all electric injection molding machines. We are the pioneers. I think
Yes.
you may be knowing.
Yes.
I think definitely it is giving a good connect. Maybe I should reach out to you for some business, both the ways.
As I said, we are all here to learn. So this is
Yeah,
a very good thing. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, we have across the country offices. Definitely, I think we should meet sometime later also.
Sure.
And since you are doing a great work, like the when the preciseness when you matters, Fanuk is there. And
Yeah.
as you know, Fanuk has 80% market share across the globe in such kind of industries. not only into plastics. It is one of the wing of Fanuc. It was a great thing that we could meet you, and definitely we will touch you later.
Please do. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kasha, I think you have raised your hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. Thank you for the wonderful sharing your experience and knowledge. So, as a family business, what were the initial set of challenges? You know, uh, you know, while growing.
Uh, while growing, so my father was always at the forefront of the business. When I joined back 12 years back, uh, it was a big challenge. As I came from UK, I worked in companies there, and I saw a lot of professionalism that came with working in Western countries. Coming back, it was a big shocker for me, where the way the Indian businesses were working, and how we were working as a company. So it was a challenge to adapt, but also I would say it was a challenge for my father also to adapt, where I came up with some of the ideas where we become more professional, we become more organization driven, rather than a person driven organization, become a more system or a policy driven organization. So these were some of the challenges where people were facing, they were confused at that time, that how these changes are happening. But we made everybody understand how these changes are going to help them, and also keeping a lot of the culture of the company exactly same. That's extremely important. We did not try to change the culture, but the way of working, we tried to change. And then after that, this transition happened. My brother also joined the business, so of course he also came up with new ideas and other things. So we my father gave me a free hand to work however I wanted to, but always said that these are the boundaries you need to work in. Similar, we worked with my brother as well. So we always got that freedom, what we wanted to do, but yes, keeping few things unchanged in the company, the culture and other things. So it was a mix of giving freedom, but with boundaries. And we tried to, of course, we had a lot of conflicts, we had a lot of heated discussions with my father and everything, but we all took it as a constructive discussion for the company and for ourselves. So it was keeping the right balance of company culture and new ways of working. So that's how we managed to reach here today. So I hope I've answered your question.
And in continuation to that, before the system and process implementation, post implementation down the 5 years, what was the kind of you know the growth in terms of on the top line and
Yeah. So as I said, we all worked towards the company. We never thought that we never worked where, or we never introduced anything where the company could face any top line issues or bottom line issues. We always, all our decisions were based on facts, where the company should keep on growing. There should be absolutely no hindrance with the kind of working we want to do, which creates a downturn in the company, or even making people uncomfortable with such changes. So we kept a balance of both the things, and we tried to grow as the industry was growing. But once we did these changes and the company, the people accepted these changes, we saw a tremendous growth. So we did a CAGR of almost 22% for almost 3 years after such changes that came in. Before that, we were doing a CAGR of around 10%, which was the industry norm. But these changes brought a vision to the company, vision to the people of the company. So that really helped people to grow within the company, and also the company size grew not only in India but also in different geographies.
And one last one, if I can,
Yes,
you know,
We
what
can.
were the what were the challenges, like, you were having in going to a new country, and was what were the challenges that you faced at when you were going outside India?
There were a lot of challenges, to be honest. I'll just give you a short story about when I went to Mexico personally for the first time. It was a different country, different language. It was a learning experience for me. I went there, we met customers there, and I was surprised and taken aback where how we were accepted very easily in these countries. I would really say pat on the back of our countrymen, where we, as a leader like Mr. Modi, he was recognized by people in Mexico. So I went there wearing my Modi jacket once to one of my customers, and he said, I remember this is Modi jacket. So it's something which was positive. It was something where I felt that, yeah, means we are accepted globally. And of course, the anti-China wave came in a few years back. So everybody's accepting India in a different way today. Go to any country, let it be the east or the west or anywhere in the world. Today, Indian companies, Indian people are accepted in a wonderful way. There's a very warm hospitality that comes through these people, and especially thanks to our Prime Minister, where he's become one of the most talked about personalities in these countries. So it's a common topic where we discuss the Indian politics as well, sitting in Mexico. So it's a positive change, and that's what is showing in business as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Aelekh, for being part of this and giving us all the experience that you have been able to master till now. And now we'll move to our next speaker. So next up, we have Mr. Bhushan Shinde. He is a visionary leader and the dynamic founder of MyAha Foods. With a career that spans over 15 years, Mr. Bhushan has left a significant mark on the global stage, contributing profoundly to the technology, education, entrepreneurship sectors across 3 continents. His journey is nothing short of inspiring. Coming from humble beginnings in Tarapur, a nuclear township in India, he propelled himself through the ranks of academia and professional excellence. A proud alumnus of IIT Delhi, Bhushan also completed an internship at Harvard University, USA, and participated in the executive program in general management at the prestigious IIM Calcutta. Having played pivotal roles in people and product management across leading MNCs and industries, his career is a testament to his versatility and leadership. Bhushan's contribution to giants like Reliance Industries Limited, Novartis, and GlaxoSmithKline Limited have been groundbreaking. Furthermore, his entrepreneurial spirit led him to venture into education and food sectors, where he continues to innovate and inspire. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Bhushan Shinde.
Thank you, Preeti, and for the just generous introduction. Yeah, I am very much glad to be, part of this community. And when, Ankit and Ritika, she's my actually classmate, as we had discussed in the last couple of meetings back. So she has been always a constant force, and a motivating factor for me throughout my, junior KG days. So, but then, this is how I got an opportunity to know about this forum, and it's a great pleasure to be speaking here, right? Basically, sharing my experiences, and I believe, right, this August gathering, which is there, has a lot of like a management education. There is a diverse background. Just what we heard right now from Aelekh is taking the, the family business to the global stage. And so my journey has been about just, starting up coming from an educational background, and then yeah, with the work experience. So I hope it would be some something that would be of interest to you all. So yeah, this is the topic basically, journey of building your own brand, and this is the food venture that I've started. It's been about 2 years right now, 1.5 to 2 years, but just sharing the journey phases. But before that, I'd just like to understand, like, how many of the attendees here have been in this entrepreneurial stage. Okay, good. So just basically, I wanted to share that this all journey is very challenging. Definitely, we all know that, and that's why it takes so much time. And for me also personally, it took about 15 years. While I had the motivation, right? I just divided into three phases this journey, and then I'll be talking about the the company as well. But the motivation started back at the IIT days, right? Just after we complete 12th, that okay, I want to do something, but it was always yeah, definitely want to get it into soon. So this motivation was always there when I was studying, but then definitely the immediate the kind of excitement is also to earn the money as like as soon as possible. So taking up a job, and that was where I thought that okay, let me put in 5 years of my time to first understand the environment, and the work culture and all those was new for me, even though I came from a very scientific background, as mentioned that in Tarapur it's a nuclear power plant. So that technical thing was always there, but the business side was not there. Fortunately for me, from my mother's side, there was this business angle. My all uncles were there in this, and my mother was herself from the commerce background. So that was there at the back of my mind. But the 5 years which I chose then turned out to be 15 years. So 10 years got added to it. The phase one, I wanted to say that yes, it was the time when I had no idea, but something I wanted to learn, and I think that's what we all do. But only thing is that that 0 to 1 stage, when we get into that, that's the only one that matters. And for me, actually, as for everybody, well, most of the people, has been the COVID phase, where we got time to introspect, and most of us have whatever crucial decisions we wanted to make, we did. But then yeah, motivation part was there. Then I got a job in Novartis, as I mentioned. That was a basically global program they had, technical leadership program, and fresh out of campus, it was in Europe. So it was good for all the batchmates to be roaming around together. We had been provided with a shared car and all those things. So we enjoyed those phases, that motivation. But then the important thing was always learning from the the culture. Like Novartis as a brand itself, like was 76, 100 years, close to 100 years old. So that was a key factor that I tried to understand and imbibe in me. But then once that 5 year mark approached, and I was married by then, had a yeah, child also that was born in Germany itself. So but then we decided to move back to India. This was in 2014. We moved back to India, and there again I got an opportunity to work in the healthcare environment. So that was my constant motivation, always to do something in the healthcare domain. That's where MyAha Foods is also is journey into. But this part was there for the Dr. Reddy's, in Hyderabad. So again, an Indian MNC environment, and a very family business, but then managed very professionally. I hope many of you would have worked also. Some of you must have come across with Dr. Reddy's. So that was there. But then when I moved back to India, my immediate instinct was to start up something. So when I was in Hyderabad, we just started with a like a normal our medical shop, like what we say pharmacy chain, brick and mortar business. And my wife was again fortunately from a pharma background. So my being into healthcare and she also being in that domain, we started with our phase two, which was the actual trial part, and which was again a learning experience in Hyderabad. Like, coming from Mumbai, never had any idea about starting up, and did that in Hyderabad, which was something I wanted to do, and my wife supported, right? And my parents were always like, wondering why you want to do that. You have a job, why do you want to change gears? But then that trial again helped us in a way that it was like a partnership that we did with a local partner there, who had already a pharmacy, store. So that time the idea was, and that was the time when, we were having netmeds and all the e-pharmacies, online pharmacies coming up, 1mg. So that was the idea. But then, yeah, we had some, experiences, right? As we say, in the first venture, it's always that you go out with, some unreal expectation, I would say. At the end of the day, it was some kind of an unreal expectation that, okay, with managing the job, I would be able to also run this thing, and then I would make a transition. So that was the trial part that I wanted to, share here, that if you are also thinking, right, definitely we should try it out, while we can do something in a job, but the real, experience can't come unless we do it full time. So there has to be a trigger which, we have to pay constant attention to, and it's up to us how we make that transition. So definitely, as the family, responsibilities come in, we need to be mindful of those, and that arrangement, as we all know, right, we have to make for that, and only then we should jump into this. So again, that phase, again, that's why it took me another 10 years. While in that journey, just still in phase two, we had our second child as well. So we shifted to Mumbai after 3 years in Hyderabad. So since 2017, we are based in Mumbai only, and we had a second child our in Mumbai. And there we thought, okay, let's take some time. That if we want to do, something concrete here, we need to have an idea, right? Think about all the, B plan and everything. Well, not from the, B plan stage, but some real kind of experience where I would be able to afford that much of a time and attention for this venture. So that time a thought came into my mind. It was that, to get some technical expertise, because coming from the, this technical background, the idea was to again either go for either specialization in a PhD domain or an MBA. I did not have an MBA at that point of time, but yeah, that instinct from the mother side was always there. But those were the two things. So I decided, let's go for a PhD part. I wanted to do something healthcare. So Mumbai was there. So IIT Bombay was also nearby. I thought, let me take up a PhD, part-time PhD. So while I was working in Mumbai, I was working for Glenmark Life Sciences, right, which is in New Mumbai. And that's Glenmark opportunity, was a good one. I started my PhD as well there, and the professor in chemical engineering department was also very much welcoming, right? With for someone who from a family having two kids wants to do a PhD, and he was always aware. But I was like, yeah, I will do it, even if he was trying to always, warn me that, will you be able to pay that much time, even if you're like, pay attention to all those things. But I was kind of, adamant. My wife, again, family supported, and I started on that journey. So that was the time, just when I started with my PhD journey, 1 year went by and COVID, happened. So lockdown, I could not go to the lab for, doing my experiments also. The idea was to do some experimental work into health science only, right? It was because my experience has been into vaccine development, and then, later into, biologicals. So being a chemical engineer student and in that bio domain, I wanted to do something on that, drug delivery and the protein space. So I don't want to get too much into the technical part of it, because I don't know how much are the, the technical audiences here, but it's the keywords that, you would have heard about. So this was my topic of the, PhD. But with the COVID, I would say there was no possibility to, move to go to the lab. And I would say that was also fortunate one, because then I got a time to, stay at home and think while I was working from home for my company. But then, the opportunity that we all got, right, to trying to build up on something, right, trying to gain that expertise and then starting up, or you just start right away, right? And COVID gave all that opportunity. When that's when that education thing happened. Basically, there was this, a lot of online options came up, right? And that was QMath. I don't know if you have heard about this. Anybody? QMath is a math startup. Basically, it was from one of my seniors from IIT Delhi only. And that was a good opportunity for me to also, get that first kind of earning experience while I'm other than the job part. So as a QMAT teacher. I started from that basics, right, to get a certification from them, to even to be able to teach primary students, because they had a very good model. But that QMath experience helped me to get that first money. Okay, it was just like 100 rupees per hour. That was the very small amount, but that gave a lot of confidence to me that okay, if you have that desire to actually do something, or go out there on your own, just go out there. People are there, and if you have the value in you, right, and if you want to give, create the value, you will be rewarded. And then slowly, when I started, definitely that amount was less, but the respect, or what do you say, the reflection from the students and the parents that you got, it gave me a sense of accomplishment, which was, I would say, not I mean, this was slightly unmatched for in the job environment. Okay, so definitely, yeah, job environment is good, right? But then if you have that, bug in you, that you want to do something, that satisfaction you'll always, be longing for, even if you are at the highest position. I mean, there, and I got good opportunity. I mean, when I was with doing my PhD, I got an opportunity to work with Indoco Remedies. That was my, third company here in India, and that was a very again family business. Started in 42 basically, so 70 plus years, family business, third generation working there. And they also gave a lot of responsibility to me of starting our own department here within this R&D unit. So that was all rewarding. But because that entrepreneurial bug was there, so this trial phase, something that while the education, the venture happened, I started to think that okay, I need to do it now full time, and that gave me that confidence as well. And that's when actually, in fact, Ritika introduced me to this IMC program also. And that was COVID time, so fortunately, we could do that online. There was a campus visits, but it was quite online, and with the work from home, I could manage that. So that was the trial phase, and with that we'll come to the launch part basically. So what happened was, again, 2 years back, when I was thinking upon now what to start upon. So that's where I would say we need to think on the part on, how what are our strengths and weaknesses. Okay, we have a lot of technological, kind of experience or working in environment that we are there. We're a lot of familiar with the systems working in multinationals. So that all is there. But when we have to start from, ground zero. So you have to learn all the ABCs of business, registering and all, lot of things are there. So in that phase, when I thought about, uh, I came upon this idea about the food business actually, because food uh, was always at the back of my mind. My mother said, as I mentioned, was always, they were had into the, food, like tomato kind of traders. They were a trader, basically trader community. And I wanted to, start there, but how in the healthy food segment. So that was again a kind of a moment of reckoning for me, I would say, that yes, there was a family aspect to it, but I was never looking into that aspect. Okay, because I was thinking, right, okay, I've got that experience of MNCs processes. I mean, how can I relate it? How can I just go and sell a vegetable, like, or like that kind of a thing? But then that's where the healthy foods and this industry was also, there is a lot of opportunity here. So this phase 3 launch happened. So this is how these 3 phases have been so far for me. But I think these all, there are just couple of 3 more slides when I'll come back to my food business idea. But I hope, I'm sure you must have seen, right, this slide. Has everybody seen this slide before?
Uh,
No? Okay, so then I'll get into, because I believe in the MBA, like programs, they cover this. But I think part of an entrepreneurial, venture, this is covered quite a lot. So if you go into, like I also personally enrolled for an incubator, right, Atal Incubation Center. So that was a part of it where I came across these things. So basically, starting up, I would just like to summarize with this slide, which I talked of in the previous one. This is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. But the idea is that you start, there are 3 parts going, simultaneously in our life. So it's a knowledge versus expertise. Okay. This field here. And at the start, there is actually something that we call as I know nothing phase, wherein we actually don't know some, a lot of things, how much more there is to know, and how much I think I know. Okay, so initially we don't know. This is the beginner phase as well. But as we have something in our mind and we want to, learn and like progress in that domain, we move to this next phase where we start to learn. This is which is says they try to acquire knowledge, and then we enter what is known as the I am an expert phase. Okay, and that's a risky part because it's actually that the graph here, as you see, it's what we think that we know. How much I think I know is a very high percentage. But if you see, this part is actually how much I actually know is quite low in that range. So there is still a lot to be known. And as you see, that keeps on increasing. Once we cross this phase, this is where we come to the actual one, actually know where we are, right? This is called as how much I actually know, and then how much I think I know. So there is a match between these things. And then, we like, try to get to the reality. Okay, that there is a lot that we need to know. This is where we are here, right? How much more I really, know that there is to know. But we know the situation that, okay, we are at this stage. And once we reach this phase, this is what makes everything possible. That calmness of the mind, right, as we say, uh, is what is needed at that stage. Is what this is all summarized into the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? As a part of MBA or through the entrepreneurial, courses, if you go and you will come across these things. So that was again a journey, as I told, right? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 2 was where I was saying when I was trying and experimenting. My first, that venture in Hyderabad was just, I think I know, okay, let's do it. But that was not the case. Then the third part was, right, I would say this, right, Ikigai is what most of us would have been, always familiar with. Again, choosing your idea. So I have also, just shared already that we need to find that spot, which is, balance of our profession, vocation, right, passion and mission. And so that's when this, yeah, I was fortunate to come across this book at that moment, just 2 years ago, and find my purpose also in this. So healthy foods and how I can combine all those things. That was where I realized, okay, I need to be in this space because, yeah, healthcare was there, but as a chemical engineer, I did not have like that direct ability to get that licenses, right, for the pharmaceutical world. As the Ankit, I believe, is a pharmacist, right? I have had an opportunity to experience, chat with him. So that is not there. But as a chemical engineer, the field is vast. I don't know how many chemical engineers are there in this group, but yeah. So yeah, anybody from chemical engineering? No. So, we are always told that, we are a versatile kind of a people, right? But chemical engineers are always, but then we are not specialized into anything, right? Food technologist or pharmacist are those, I would say, vocation-based kind of streams. But chemical engineers are more for operations, go into petrochemicals, petroleum, or, the FMCG space. But this is where we need to, realize or try to, think through what we need to do. So herein I came across, one of the example about cooking, right? If someone loves cooking, that is a good example of, what you love, right? So the passion and thing is there, what you love is there. And definitely if you start with what the world needs and what you can be paid for, you can easily start with something, just cooking for the friends, right? And family is always there, but friends, at the parties or just, at the get-togethers. So that's where this vocation, can be matched. But if you want to go into that, profession part also and then raise the level, that will add a purpose to it. Okay, so that ikigai is what we need to, find for ourselves. And as I mentioned, right, education space was something also that happened to me within this time frame, was that I stumbled upon this career counseling part. So I started with QMath, but then I realized, yeah, as a teacher, yeah, there are good teachers also. But when I have had the work experience, I can start into the career counseling space. So that's where, this goal oriented thinking and then relating it to the UN SDGs, Sustainable Development and Goals, all those things came together. Those are all, yeah, good ideas, but then ground execution is something that we need to, pay attention to. So this is where my experience has been on the, finding my idea, finding my ikigai. And again, fortunately, my wife and family has been supportive. So last 1.5 years ago, when I decided to, completely leave the job and get into this space, so that helped me. Okay, and that's when I want to come to the last part now, which was on, yeah, just before that, this is one thing, right? This is more about the marketing. I believe this would have been covered, right? From the, like, where we say about the early markets to the mainstream market. For any startup or any company, right? From the marketing people, if you're there, you would see that for any business point that, when we start up, there will be early adopters, right? Innovators who would be, willing to accept our product. But then we need to cross this barrier, this chasm that we call it, and we need to get into this phase wherein, the mainstream market is there, who are the early majority and the late majority that will, actually make our business sustainable. So this is what the challenging phase that, we, I would say, are just at this stage. We are still, I wouldn't say that crossed the chasm yet, but have some ideas. And with that, I wanted to share about this, the MyAha Foods, like, what we are doing with Foodik is basically, yeah, we started with a private limited, actually. I mean, with this thing, so, getting an experience of setting that up. And the questions we had were, as I said, told you, my mama's background, like, he was a 35-year-old business, was onto this tomato based thing. So we started with the tomato based products, and, it was like fruit processing. That's what we are doing. So again, the thought came to our mind, right? Whether to go with an innovative product at the start, or someone who don't have a real experience, selling. Even though I had like MBA, but then that was not something like, it's not, that's still a theoretical part. So I thought upon that, okay, let's go into a product which has a mass volume. I mean, demand. It's a commercial, the running product. So that's where we started with the tomato ketchup idea. And to develop a brand, what I wanted to share from my experience was that, that we need to be having focus on building a brand, right? That, okay, if you want to start a brand, there are options available that you can do things, with our own brand, rather than, like, setting up a unit, and then we need not just, manufacture and then sell it. Or we need not also like go through the stage of, kind of retailing, getting into retail or wholesale, right? Selling for getting that selling experience, that we, become a trader basically for other brands, and then, you jump into that. That's a valid option also, right? So people do that. But from my thought process, this is how I decided that I will get into this space, which is a, running product, but it has a lineage from a family perspective, right? So there were some contacts in the the hotel industry. So Horeca versus D2C, that option was there. And again, ketchup, we decided that, okay, because to getting into D2C marketing part, will be there, right? All those branding things will be there. We got the licenses on all, but we decided, let's not get into D2C first. We went into the Horeca segment, basically the, where the bulk, demand is there. And there, more than, the brand, you get the selling experience, I would say, much better than, the marketing. Yes, the marketing, we need to have a marketing aspect to it, but this was again the decision point that, we had to go through, and we decided with Horeca. People start with D2C, right? There are a lot of different options. And then, yeah, we chose to enter via CMO because, again, cost efficiency, and we wanted to get into the market first, I mean, sooner. That was the idea. So getting the food licenses and all, whatever was needed, and as I mentioned, right, getting food licenses was better, easier than getting a, pharma licenses, even though I had a background. But then there are a lot of different kinds of food licenses available. And nowadays, yeah, everybody must have heard about this, there's like cloud kitchen and a lot of the different things, but we never may not have, spend time understanding the licenses. So there are a lot of YouTube, videos also, but best thing, just go out and talk to any, the agent, our local, shop who does this, like the Gumasta license or the shop acts. Just go and talk about that. That's what I did, even though, yeah, because of that technical background, looking up the FSSI website, those things happened to me naturally. But the actual thing, unless we go out there, it doesn't happen. And then, yeah, so one thing I just wanted to emphasize on this journey was that, setting up the funds to manage the family expenses. That is something we need to do, and that had to be done. So before I could also convince, first of all, convince myself to get completely into it, and then also convince the family. That was just one point on this. And then we had this option of, how to go about the healthy variants. So while we got into the CMO part, we realized that, okay, if you wanted to try something, so even in ketchup, there are a lot of things that, are there healthy variants, and like Heinz is the company that, we are following. So Heinz had, if you see, a lot of things that has been done, and a lot of ideas that we come across are already been tested, or we can check on those. So, but getting via CMOs is something, challenging because of the minimum order quantities and what all we have to go through. So now, since last, 6 months, we decided that let's get into our own manufacturing. So it's a small scale thing that we are setting up in Pune, because that's where, like, my hometown is also there. So this is how we have now decided that, to build our healthy variants and the portfolio, we will be doing the work there, because we need to have a kind of a small testing unit, like a pilot unit, not, I would say, testing, but a pilot scale facility or small scale R&D unit, where we can try it up before we, scale it up with the CMOs also, or we get that, that market traction to launch on a large scale, or when, invest ourselves into the manufacturing facility on the large scale, or even, place orders for the CMOs with those our own variants. So this is how, our journey has been so far with the healthy variants. So because we have started with ketchup, we are on tomato base, we are also looking into now the tomato juice. It's again a kind of a, I would say, leisure product, because definitely on flights you would have seen, right, international flights, tomato juice is there, or even like yeah, what we will say, restaurants, or some, the, the thing places we can find tomato juices. But then the focus we want to keep is always on the healthy variants. Okay, though we entered with these things which is not so healthy, right, tomato ketchup, but then we realized there's a lot of things that can be done, and there are options available with the right marketing and with the right funds. That is possible. And that's where I also mentioned about the incubator, right? I enrolled for an the, AIC, Ultra Incubation Center, when I the first after the first 3 months, when I left my job, I entered there, enrolled there, and that helped me to also gain that perspective. It's always a phase of learning, constantly learning, that has helped, and it is also helping me to, plan the journey. I would say this is all I would want to share, and I will keep it short. Already I have exceeded the time, and I would like to be, open to answer any queries. Anybody have any questions, or share your thoughts or experiences? I'm open to that.
Bhushan, I think a very inspiring story. Uh, I know it is very difficult as an entrepreneur. I would like to know from you. See, you have entered in a commodity market, FMCG, with big giants, and you are just starting, I would say, late entrant with the ketchup. How difficult it was to sell in this market when people normally, particularly in food industry, people are actually attached to the brand and then recognize brands, I would say, and entering into this market and selling all these things. So how difficult it was, and then how exactly you did this?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a very valid question, because there are FMCG, like everybody from Unilevers to, like the Indian players are also there. But yeah, what I thought about was definitely doing the homework, was something yeah, I tried to do in terms of, what is the brand. And I always believed, with my working experience, working with Reliance also, when that was my internship at Jamnagar, I tried to always, try to see how their journey has been. So with brands, what I have realized is that, it's, yes, every brand has a story, so it's our story that matters. So when I decided that, okay, that I wanted to do, and there is a lot of competition, how I tried to handle this was, go out there and pitch in my story, right? Why I started with this brand. Okay, Foodik, coming up with a name, again, a challenge, right? We always doubt ourselves whether this is a valid name. I mean, even MyAha. So MyAha is something, again, there is a story for it. So aha moments. That's what we want to, always cater to. And we wanted to, that thought is always there. Definitely, our thought versus the execution is what takes the time, right? And that gap, if we are able to bridge, is what, that sustainability will be, kind of addressed there. But this MyAha Foods and Foodik, and when I entered, right, selling even the restaurants, got a response, what are you bringing? You're just selling a ketchup, right? So, I mean, they are selling it at very cheaper, I mean, lower price as well. So again, I needed to understand the process. So for coming from a manufacturing background myself, right, technical training as a chemical engineer, I could answer those queries, or I could, highlight those things. I mean, I would say that's how I tried to prepare myself while positioning my brand and my experience, what I'm bringing into that. So I said that, okay, even though I am coming into the food segment with my experience being into the pharma, right, healthcare, but I have experience of, how these are manufactured and even identifying partners. So I selecting a CMO. I had to, basically visit different CMOs, finding them out who are there for the good qualities. So those all things, was what I tried to do. And that gave me confidence and facing. And there were people who absolutely, said, okay, just, yeah, we have, like, the common word that we get is, yeah, chalega. That's when you go and try to sell, no? There's at any store, yeah, chalega. As we get confused whether they want to say, yeah, they will accept it or not. But then you realize, chalega means chalo. But then, yeah, there are people who try to, give ears to your thought, what you're saying. And there are early adopters, right? That's what that slide was about, early adopters and innovators. That's what we need to find. Who can be those early adopters? And then they become the ambassadors of our brand. And then they bring in referrals. Okay. I hope I answered that.
Thank you, Bhushan. Thank you.
Mr. Bhushan, honestly, a lot of people think of being an entrepreneur and start a brand, and you have picked a category which is highly, highly competitive.
Mhm.
Journey that you've taken on yourself, and you are already, I think, reaching a lot of milestones. Wish you a lot of success and all the best for this. Hopefully, we'll get to see big, big ads someday of your brand, just like the way we see Hindustan Unilever products and PG. So that's what we wish for you. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your experience with us. And yes, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to interacting, with this group, because we have all lot of everybody has a lot of ideas and good thoughts.
In fact, we do this meet every Friday, and it will be great whenever if you have time and you want to join. I mean, like, this is apart from knowledge exchanges, it's also a networking platform where who you find and in what ways you never know. It's always an open link, and we would like, people to continue a journey with us, because at the end of the day, it's a very open forum for people with the intention of being getting success in whatever they are setting out to do and helping each other. So it'll be great to see you in future sessions also. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you and all the best.
Bye. Thank you for joining, each one of you.